Oh, I can smell my pizza. I'm gonna go heat my pizza up intensely. Yeah, Dad, this could be our interview spot. Should we go to Union Square tomorrow? Although we have the Broadway Daniel Radcliffe thing at 2. That is the sound of good things beginning. Okay, guess Dad doesn't have anything to say about 9/11. It's left him speechless. Highly would recommend going to the 9/11 memorial. I didn't really feel much. What did he call the
voids?
The voids. Yeah. I didn't realize there were 2 voids. There are 2 voids. And if you know what the voids are, they're like the wells, the massive square dips in the ground with people's names around the outside. I didn't film too much of that because I don't know, I just get weird when you're in a place like 9/11 where it is a memorial site and it's paying tribute to people whose lives were lost. I just feel very uncomfortable filming in places like that. I just feel that I'd be disrespecting the people because you don't want to do that. Personally, I just want to be in the moment and absorbing it all and really just reflecting on the event. And yeah, today was a very eye-opening kind of day, like very emotional kind of day, but it was good. Yeah, like I said, would highly recommend going to the 9/11 Memorial Ground Zero. And again, our tour guide was very good. I liked him, he was cool. But yeah, doing the tour, because the tour that we did, he took us around both of the voids and talked us through a few of the stories of the people who died in the Twin Towers. And it's very, obviously, like, you know that there's thousands of people in those buildings and many more who were a part of the tragic event. But just hearing the stories, like, you don't, like, one of them, there was one guy who, and unfortunately I've forgotten his name, but his story was, he was working in the one of the towers on 9/11, and a trademark of his character was he had a red bandana that he would wear, just sort of anywhere, put it in his pocket, wear it around his neck, on his head, anywhere. But even though he was working in finance, he always wanted to work in the New York Fire Department. So when the towers were struck, he just leapt into action. He went and found the only available exit from the building that he was in, and instead of just getting out, he helped, you know, a good number of people out of the building. And he made like 3 trips, I think. You know, first trip he took like 5 people out, another 5 people out. Third trip is when the tower fell, and he obviously did not make it out. But I just thought it was like such a noble character right there, and there was so many more like him. But you don't really think about that when you think about 9/11. There's just so many of them. It's one of those, I said to Dad on the way back just now, it's like when people say after they've been into a haunted house or something, they felt like a heavy presence, being the spirits. Not saying that Ground Zero was haunted, but of course it is quite a haunting place in a way. Like it is such a tragic thing that happened. And I was only 1 at the time, so I've got, you know, no sort of initial emotional connection to it. But nevertheless, it is such a well-known and really devastating event that happened. So yeah, like just being at Ground Zero, having all that go through my mind, having gone through the tour, and our tour guide just being so genuine about it and being so very authentic about how he's saying it to us. just makes you connect and really get into it and thinking about 9/11 and the events, and not just the aftermath, but really just thinking about why in the first place. And honestly, with terrorist attacks and Al-Qaeda, which is the group that was responsible for 9/11, there is no logical answer as to why somebody would want to do that. And it's just, it's evil. It's evil. And yeah, so just being there, having all of this go through your mind is quite heavy. So today I very much liked going to Ground Zero. I've always been interested in 9/11, both on a sort of lateral perspective and also an ethical and a spiritual, philosophical way. I've always been interested in 9/11 because obviously it changed the world. As soon as those towers were hit, that just completely, like before that, nobody ever thought, you know, oh my god, I don't want to go to Broadway or Times Square on New Year's Eve just in case it gets bombed. You know, no one thought about that before 9/11. Terrorist attacks just weren't, obviously shit was going down before 9/11, but after that, yeah, it was like 9/11 was where America declared themselves at war with Al-Qaeda. Yeah, this is the world I've grown up in, is terrorist attacks, bomb threats, suicide bombers, stuff like that. And it's terrible, like it's absolutely terrible, and I hope our world gets better, and that this is not a reality for my children or, you know, my children's children. I really hope it's different. And so yeah, having all that, just, yeah, bringing back down to my point, having all of that go through your mind, I hope now you probably have a good idea of how heavy it felt just walking around. And they've got a museum as well that goes 70 feet down, just like the depth of the foundation structure of the Twin Towers. So seeing the museum, listening and seeing the faces of all of the people who were killed, because they have them displayed in the museum, is just, you have no choice but to just reflect on how how 9/11, the event, highlighted to the world the good people in the world, those who gave their lives to save others, those innocent and who did not deserve to die, and also highlighted the bad people in the world. And that sentence alone paints a very dark picture of it. But if you think about it, the number of good people, the ratio of good to bad people in 9/11, well, the good definitely outweighed the bad. And I think that's something to really think about and something to focus on, is that the number of bad people involved in 9/11 was 19. The number of good and the number of innocent was over 3,000. So 3,000 plus millions who are watching, millions who are alive today, having millions and millions against 19. I think that says something. Gives me hope, at least, to think it like that. Yeah, that was quite a heavy recount of my day, but I haven't really done many. I haven't vlogged at all. I've filmed stuff, but I have not vlogged. So I thought I'd just give a little recap of my day at Ground Zero. Quite a heavy topic, but nevertheless, it was very good, and I would highly recommend that people went there. Anyway, I'm going to now eat my pizza and watch the Great British Bake Off. Yeah, so see you guys later.